Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:35 and Pearl Jam with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain with a high of 48. Did I just say rain?
Yeah, and a lot of rain, but
like
not enough rain to start fires.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about the weather because there's these two bomb cyclones in the country. Have you seen this?
I did.
That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
We don't need any of those, but we do need some rain badly.
Yeah.
Hey, believe it or not, a week from today will be the final 4 hours of the Mayflower Marathon.
Well, how about that?
We're also going to talk about the Mayflower Marathon, how you can prepare, and what we got coming up next week. Pretty exciting stuff.
Sounds good.
That and more. Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. 102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:53 and Foreigner with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain showers with a high of 48. It's 39 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Actor and comedian Dave Coulier came to his friend John Stamos' defense Tuesday after the actor received social media backlash for wearing a bald cap in support of Coulier's cancer journey.
Okay.
I'm sorry to see a bunch of negative comments as I've just begun my cancer journey, Coulier wrote on an Instagram post on Tuesday. It's our friendship. And this is how we're handling a very tough time. I'm a comedian, and humor is what drives me. John knows how to cheer me up, and I laughed out loud when he arrived wearing a bald cap, being a true, loving friend and brother.
Well, laughter is the best medicine.
And that one guy laughed.
That's because he has cancer.
And laughter,
Laughter is the best medicine.
Coulier's words came after several people swarmed Coulier and Stamos' joint Instagram post on Monday, many commenting that they felt Stamos' move to sport a bald cap instead of just shaving his head was insensitive. Shave your head, bro. Seriously, just couldn't you shave? The post included 3 different shots of Coulier and Stamos joking around. Coulier went on to say that the post and his content have helped others through their cancer diagnosis. Who cares the way you handle your diagnosis?
Well, I mean, if it provides just a shade of inspiration for somebody else, Steve, don't you think it's worth it?
A shade of inspiration for what? Being a jerk, criticizing the guy
Yes.
for putting a bald cap on?
Yeah, that's right.
I agree with Dave. One of the few times I'll ever agree with Dave Coulier on anything. But it's humor. That's how people get through stuff. He's clearly friends with this guy for years, and
It's the greatest defense mechanism we have.
it's the only defense mechanism we really have.
Right.
Because sometimes you can't stop things from happening, so you might as well just laugh about it. You know what I mean?
It's a good point, Steve.
I don't know. I'm just, I'll get off the soapbox now. I'll cut it out.
You don't have to.
See what I did?
I do,
just did
yeah.
a Full
I got
House
that.
reference there. Jay Leno has his wife Mavis in conservatorship because she's suffering from dementia, but maybe Jay needs to be in one of his own because he can't stop hurting himself. He was spotted on Monday night in Beverly Hills with an eye patch and bruising on the side of his face. Did you see the picture of him?
No.
He looks awful. He looks all like somebody beat the crap out of him. Turns out he fell down a hill at a hotel. He was trying to take a shortcut to a restaurant, and rather than walk down a winding path,
Oh, dude.
he wiped out and he hit his head on a rock, giving himself a black eye. He did go to the hospital, but not before performing that night.
Wait a minute. He did a set with a banged up eye and a bruised up face?
And he says he's not missing any shows either. He told TMZ, quote, "It's not that big of a deal. It's all right." In 2022, he severely burned his hands and face while working on a car in his garage. Last year, he suffered several broken bones when he got knocked off his motorcycle. Somehow, this man is 74 years old.
I was going to say. I mean, if I'm 74 and I have any one of those calamities, I'm canceling the show.
You know, I kind of, relate to Jay Leno. I've had my share of spills.
Yeah, but if you, like, say, were burned in an accident,
Yeah.
or fell down a 60-foot hill on your way to dinner, You still going to get up and do a $20 comedy show and dinner?
I slipped on the stairs here outside of the radio station in February.
Yeah.
And I still have a lump on my backside from it.
See, and I thought that was a prehensile tail.
It's not even in the tail spot.
Even still.
Yeah. Denzel Washington, talking about Kevin Spacey here.
Mm-hmm.
In a new piece for Esquire, Denzel says there were rumors about Kevin Spacey's behavior at least 2 decades before he was accused of sexual misconduct. Quote, there was talk in the town about what was going on over there on that side of the street, and that's between him and God. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I pray for him. That's between him and his maker. In the same interview, Denzel says he's doing what he can to earn himself another 30 years on the planet. He's about to turn 70, and his mother lived to be 97. He didn't really help himself in his younger years, thanks to indulgences, if you will.
Things happen.
He says he's done a lot of damage to his body, but he's been sober for 10 years now, and it could have been worse. I never got strung out on heroin, never got strung out on coke, never got strung out on hard drugs. I shot dope just like they shot dope, but I never got strung out. So you were a recreational user of dope.
Right. He dabbled.
He was a mild idiot, not a dope.
Right. Just swirling around the edge of the pool.
Mm-hmm. There are movies that can make anyone cry, but within that category exists a subset called guy cry movies. These are movies that concern themselves with more masculine topics like sports, war, and father-son relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so emotionally affecting enough to reduce men to tears. According to TheRinger.com, the top guy cry movie is...
that Taylor Swift concert film.
No, Furious 7. The one where they said goodbye to Paul Walker's character after his death in real life.
I was completely unfazed.
Number 2 was Armageddon. Who cried in Armageddon?
Armageddon?
That was a man.
There's no man alive that would cry at a movie like that.
Interstellar.
No, I didn't cry.
Click.
No.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, I didn't cry on that one.
Braveheart.
Definitely didn't cry.
The Shawshank Redemption.
Nope. Didn't cry.
The Green Mile.
No, not really.
Frequency.
No.
The Iron Giant.
No.
Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Ooh, I was on the edge.
I was so ready to cry when that cyborg went into that pile of lava or whatever, molten lava. Saving Private Ryan. I can see that one because that was a true to life thing where a lot of people who had PTSD went to the movie theaters and couldn't even get through some of the movie. I remember that when that came out.
Couldn't even get through the first 12 minutes.
But I cried at Police Academy 2, 3, and 4.
I cried during Jaws 3.
Oh, because it was just a horrible movie?
No, because I had to pay for it.
Yeah, right, yeah. This is too much money. Kim Kardashian still hanging out with that $30,000 Tesla robot who she considers a friend now.
Really? She must have something to say.
Oh, my God, the last time I had a cyber experience was when Ray J took his Johnny 5 and shoved it into my Steve Poopenberg in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. Did you ever have the Steve Poopenberg?
No, I haven't. Caitlin?
I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but we did watch a bunch of robot movies.
Really? What'd you see?
We started off with Sperminator 2 Fudgment Day. We were just talking.
I'll be back.
Yeah, on your back. We just talked about that in Hollywood Trash. And then we saw Star Wars and Star Wars with C-3P hole.
You don't want to see the Force after that.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
What else did you watch?
Well, we finally finished off the night with the 2000 Spum, A Face Prophecy. Me and my buddy Hal opened the slob-sprayed doors. I'm afraid I can do that, sir. And that is your Hollywood Trash on Rock 102. Ah!
Dreaming about a career at a company with a fantastic...
And now, Bax's View from the Couch. Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, the one-stop quick in-and-out store for property managers, landlords, handyman, and contractors.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Hey, let me ask you a question. Remember 2 years ago when the Boston Bruins had perhaps the most dominating regular season in NHL history? You know, a record 65 wins and only 12 losses. Plus, they racked up a league record of 135 points, and that all happened during Jim Montgomery's first season as head coach? Boy, I sure do. Sure, they got bumped out of the first round of the playoffs, but even still, one hell of a season. Last year, not as great, but still solid, having waited until the second round of the playoffs before losing to Florida for the second straight year. Anyway, you remember all that? Well, guess what? After only 20 games into this season, the Bruins have fired Jim Montgomery. Why? Because apparently between the last 2 seasons and the last 20 games, everything that's wrong with the Bruins must clearly be Jim Montgomery's fault. Certainly couldn't be the players, and it couldn't be anything that general manager Don Sweeney has done or has failed to do. And as a Bruins fan, you're going to have a hell of a time convincing me this is Cam Neely's fault, you know, the Bruins team president. No, folks, a record of 8-9-3 must clearly be the fault of Jim Montgomery, since it's become abundantly clear that the man has completely forgotten how to coach hockey, which is amazing because just 2 years ago, he really seemed to know what he was doing. So now, Jim Montgomery has been replaced by interim head coach Joe Sacco, who has been an assistant with the Bruins for the last 10 years, having served under the last 3 guys who were fired by Don Sweeney. Will Joe Sacco become the permanent solution? Nope. That's because he's serving under Don Sweeney, a man who changes coaches like he changes socks. Listen, firing a head coach in any sport is nothing new, but perhaps the problem isn't really the head coach. Perhaps it's something else, like the guy who hired him, which happens to be the same guy that just fired him, as well as the last several guys to have that job. Coincidence? Perhaps, but what the hell would I know? But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. Have you met Steve-O yet? If you're a painting contractor and you do it for a living, Steve-O is the guy you need to meet. He wants to earn your business at the Liberty Street Rockies. It's a paint contractor headquarters. Opens up at 7 in the morning. You set up an account. It's a quick in, quick out, good people, rock solid service. You'll find it all at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock. It's 6:15, and Queen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain. And could be a lot of it. And could see some snowflakes up in the higher elevations as well with a high of 48. It's 39 right now in downtown Springfield. There's these 2 bomb cyclone things that are like one's on one side of the country, one's on the other. Mm-hmm. And it's like going around in a big circle.
We don't need any more bomb cyclones or microbursts or any other natural disasters if we can help it.
Absolutely not. A couple of things, though. Well, first of all, the first email went out yesterday from the Rock 102 Cake Committee, the birthday cake committee.
Sure.
And there's only 2. See, I guess it used to be more significant when there was multiple people celebrating multiple birthdays in a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we don't have that many people here anymore, so there was no November birthdays. None. So there's no cake for November.
Okay.
But December, there are 2 people who are celebrating birthdays, so I sent an email to both of them yesterday.
So do we get 2 cakes or we get 1?
You get 1 cake, and I'll read you the email that I sent out. Dear December-born employees, congratulations on surviving another year and landing the coveted position of Birthday Celebrity of the Month. The Rock 102 Birthday Cake Committee is thrilled to announce that your big day will be celebrated in style with a cake from the world-famous La Fiorentina pastry shop.
Ooh, good choice.
Because you're special, or at least you think you are. To make your dreams come true, or at least sweeten your office day, I've attached a list of available cake flavors. Here's the deal. Submit your top cake choice from the list attached to the cake committee by December 1st.
Okay.
If you and your fellow December celebrants can miraculously agree on the same flavor, everybody wins, right? If no agreement can be reached, which would be shocking.
Which is likely.
Shocking. It would be shocking.
Or I can see the people on the November birthdays just refusing to answer.
We'll implement the ultimate democratic system, a basketball bracket-style cake showdown complete with coin flips to determine the victor.
Okay. What are the choices?
Well, that's what you got here. We got let's see, rum cake.
Okay.
Whipped cream and fruit.
Actually, that's pretty good over there.
Okay, I'm not everything over there is good.
Sure.
But I am also going to go at my ones that I don't want.
Okay, but
I
it's
would
not,
rather have one over another. It has nothing to do with the quality of. I mean, this is why we're going there.
You're going to have to wait until October before you can decide,
Right?
Or have or real input.
Right, but I'm just saying, like everything over there is good.
Yes.
But there are some things that are particularly I'd want over another one. So I wouldn't go with the whipped cream and fruit.
Okay.
I'm not a whipped cream and fruit kind of guy.
But I've had the whipped cream and fruit cake over there, and it's quite good.
Fruit topped whip.
Okay.
Ricotta.
Not bad.
I don't even know if I've ever had something like that before.
Sweetened ricotta?
That must be like a cannoli, right?
It's very much like a cannoli.
All right. Chocolate with strawberries. Chocolate mousse. That sounds a good one. Raspberry mousse.
Okay.
Chocolate with ricotta. Chocolate with frosting. White cake. Marble cake. Very basic stuff.
Sure.
Cream with no rum. All pineapple. All strawberry. Carrot cake.
Uh-huh.
Which that's a good carrot cake.
Yeah, there's some
like,
carrot cakes are like sweatshop carrot cakes, but that's a good carrot cake.
Red velvet. I'm not a big fan of red velvet, though. Never really had been.
Some are good.
Lemon cake. That
Yeah.
would be good. Pina colada. Cappuccino.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
The Grand Marnier cake.
That sounds good, too.
That's the one. That's the one that's got like an orange cream filling to
Yeah.
it with a chocolate, like a dark chocolate frosting to it.
Oh, yeah.
Chantilly, which I'm not sure what is that. What is that?
Isn't that a kind of lace?
That's
and a pretty tail hanging
yeah,
down?
Yeah. I believe the
Because,
big,
oh, baby, that's what I like.
the Big Bopper cooks that up. Casata, Gato, Zuppetta, and Millie Fogel with Baba.
See, because I'm never going to order the things that I don't understand. But I will get the ones that, like the ricotta one, which is basically like the cannoli cake.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Or a cheesecake.
I don't like cheesecake.
Or a torta baba.
I don't know what a torta baba is.
Or a tiramisu.
Oh, that's good, too.
Yeah.
I like that.
So that's how we're going to do this. The winning cake will be ceremoniously presented, well, delivered to the conference room anyway,
Right.
for your enjoyment and the envy of everyone else born in inferior months.
Now, riddle me this.
Mm-hmm.
Do we, as employees who are not celebrating during that month,
Yeah.
do we have the ability to, say, influence a decision?
Well, it says bribery is frowned upon, but not entirely off the table, and especially if it involves cash.
Because I could go up to one of these people celebrating their birthday in the month of November and say, listen, I know you're going to make a very tough choice here, but I hate every cake except that one.
Yeah, well, you could do that.
I'm allergic. I will go into like I'll break out in hives
Yeah.
with a cake I don't like.
You can be a cake lobbyist.
Okay,
Yeah.
I could push my influence around here.
Again, this isn't the deadbeats of Congress. This is the deadbeats of Rock 102 and Blazer 993.
What's our busiest month? Do we know where we get like the most amount of people?
You know what? I haven't seen all the top secret information from the CIA upstairs, so I don't know. I only have the two names.
I see.
So far, it's just two names for the month of December. But
Yeah.
I will find out.
Because I can see some sort of coup building up on a month where there's like 4 or 5 people, and nobody can decide.
Well, I think if there's a month where nobody is celebrating a birthday, I bring the motion to the floor to just have everybody vote on a cake for that month.
Just to celebrate the fact that
People
we
were
have
born.
we have access to cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have access to expensive cake.
Well,
No longer are the days of Betty Crocker and Duncan Hines. They are out.
Those should be the days that we remember former employees.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
So it'll be the really bad cakes on those months?
No, it doesn't have to be bad cakes. I mean, we can always celebrate people that are no longer here. Like, let's have a Heidi West cake.
Oh, yeah. We could have a Heidi West cake.
You know, I got a buddy that likes cake. Maybe we could celebrate that guy.
It's birthdays, not baby showers.
Crybaby showers.
Crybaby showers.
Oh, this is. I like the way this is going. This is setting up very good.
This is. We needed systemic change around here, and I am the one to lead. Especially, listen, I've had a lot of experience as a fat guy my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
I know quality pastry,
Sure you do.
and I know disgusting pastry. And
Oh, yeah.
disgusting pastry comes in form of a cake that comes out of a box, like a Duncan Hines or a Betty Crocker. And we don't need that anymore.
We don't need homemade
We need
cakes.
systemic change, and this is the way it's going to go.
You know, for all the times that we have to get together for these phony team-building exercises,
Yeah.
and it never really works, I don't know of anything that brings an office environment closer together than through the miracle of cake.
Good cake.
Good cake.
I'm talking, listen, yes. I'm going to buy a grocery store cake for like my kids' birthdays and stuff like that.
Sure.
But when I have free reign of the company credit card, I will buy the most expensive cake because we all deserve a little piece of heaven around here. Thank you very much.
You really got some sort of leadership ability that that is laid dormant for these last 19, 20 years.
I think I have a cake czar.
Yes. The potentate of ordering cake.
Yes.
Yeah, the cake potentate.
Cake potentate. I like that.
Yeah, there you go. We'll work out we'll hammer out the details of that one.
Yeah.
There you go. 624 on Rock 102.
Since 19...
It's 627 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, real quick, the Mayflower Marathon, as many of you know, is beginning on Monday of next week, the 25th. Starts at 6 a.m. It's a 52-hour-long broadcast that goes to Wednesday at 10 a.m. We'll be outside the South End Market at MGM Springfield. So when you go to the parking garage, that's where we'll be. It'll be impossible to miss. The goal is to fill as many trailers with non-perishable foods as we can possibly fill. It all goes to the open pantry, and we need you to make this happen. So you can start your collection now or throughout the weekend. You can donate online at rock102.com. Again, thanks to all of our sponsors, Capital Moving and Storage, Xfinity, Camping World of West Hatfield, MGM Springfield, and many, many more. You can get all the details at rock102.com. It's the Mayflower Marathon beginning Monday on Rock 102.
We also have Mayflower Marathon night at the Thunderbirds game this Friday night.
Yes.
At the Thunderdome. I have a little interesting tidbit of information that involves you.
Me?
Yes, but I will not reveal that until like 6:50 when we come back after the news.
Well, what the hell's that all about?
Well, because we don't have time to talk about it, and it's going to be a surprise for you.
Oh,
it might not be something that you like at all.
Oh my God!
But I want to see your reaction when I tell you. Okay?
I'm so glad things are being planned around me. I feel very involved.
Sometimes executive decisions need to be made. And I am that's being the what'd you call it? The cake what?
The cake the potentate cake.
Potentate cake.
Right.
Being the potentate cake, I had to make a decision because I feel even though it wasn't really in the lane of the cake committee, it was still a decision that had to be made, and I think I made the right one. So I'll tell you about it.
Well, okay, all right, fine. I'll wait. I'll wait.
Well, this is my entertainment tonight tease. Would you like to laugh?
Yes.
Then you should probably go to a different radio station.
It's Bax and Nagle's joke of the day
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
So 3 couples are trying to get married at the same church.
Yes.
There's a young couple, a middle-aged couple, and an elderly couple.
Okay.
And the 3 couples meet with the priest and discuss when they can get married. If you wish to get married in my church, you must all go 1 month without having sex, says the priest.
Okay.
Pretty bold for a guy to say something like that.
Right.
1 month later, the couples return to the church and talk to the priest. He then asked the elderly couple, well, have you completed the month with sex, without sex? Yes, we have. It was easy, said the elderly couple. How about you? He asked the middle-aged couple. It was hard, but we didn't have sex for the entire month, they responded, right?
Okay.
And he goes, looks over to the young couple and says, how about you two? And he goes, no, we couldn't do it. This is the boyfriend, right?
Right.
And the priest says, well, tell me why. And he goes, well, my girlfriend had a can of corn in her hand, and she accidentally dropped it. She bent over to pick it up, and that's when it happened, right? And the priest says, you're not welcome in my church anymore. And he goes, yeah, we're not welcome in the Aldi's either. Yeah, because he was doing it. Aldi's. Maybe she was picking up a bag of nuts, too. All these nuts.
Aldi's
Yeah,
nuts.
how about that? Yeah.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
Here's your Western Mass News First Alert Forecast.
Decreasing cloud.
With Bax and Nagle and Rock 102, it's time for news. It's brought to you by Big Y. Here's to happy holidays and tasty traditions. There's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A mother and a baby from Springfield are dead after a triple shooting in Hartford on Tuesday. The victims have been identified as 24-year-old Josiah Mercado and her 4-month-old baby, Messiah Diaz. They were shot on Tuesday at 2:47 p.m. in Mercado's car when someone pulled up next to them and opened fire, according to the Hartford police. Excuse me. Had a little hiccups or something going on.
Gotcha.
Wrong time to have that.
Terrible time for this.
Mercado and her son were killed, and a man in his 20s were wounded. He's now recovering in the hospital. The shooting happened right next to Thomas Highland Memorial Park and Daycare Center, not far from the campus of Trinity College on New Britain Avenue. Police have not released a description of the suspect or their vehicle. As part of the investigation, they have been talking to witnesses and reviewing nearby surveillance camera footage. Updates will be available as they come in. Multiple fire crews worked throughout the day Tuesday to contain a massive brush fire, which has now grown over to 100 acres out in Great Barrington. The fire, located near Camp Eisner on Brookside Road in Great Barrington, began around midnight on Monday, with multiple local fire departments assisting throughout the day to contain the fire. It continues to burn as of Tuesday night, with crews expected to return today to continue working. Due to its proximity at around 8:52 a.m., Camp Eisner posted on Facebook that the fire was near their property and they were monitoring the situation. Ski Butternut says there has not been any damage to the resort itself as of 3 p.m. on Tuesday. The resort has its snowmaking system on to help saturate the area to mitigate the fire risk.
Oh, that's really smart.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just shoots water. I mean, you can do it to shoot water. You don't have to make the snow. You know what I mean? The National Guard's helicopter crew is using the ski resort pond to drop water on fires in the areas. Multiple fire departments, including those from Monterey, Otis, and Adams, have been assisting the Great Barrington Fire Department in suppression efforts. Crews will return today to continue battling the fire with hopes that the incoming rain will help contain it. I'm a little worried about this rain coming in because they're talking about like heavy downpours. Now, we haven't had much of any rain to really speak of in the last 3 months.
But now they're talking about an inch of rain all of a sudden.
And that, I'm guessing, might cause some flooding issues depending on where you are.
Now, you'd think, well, it's so dry, everything's just going to get absorbed. Well,
no, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't quite work that way when you got like an inch of rain coming down in one day. It may not absorb it fast enough.
Well, the other day I went outside with the garden hose and I started. I have this little area. It's like a little where you park a car.
Yeah,
but it's not like paved. It's just like
gravel
millings.
Milling.
But over the years, it just becomes dustier and dustier until you redo it again. So I took a garden hose and kind of just sprayed it all down. And it didn't do anything to it. It just kind of just like evaporated almost immediately, and it didn't even look like any water had been put down after about maybe 20 minutes.
What did I see the other day? This is the longest stretch of no rain they've had in Massachusetts, at least, since they started tracking that information.
Yeah,
it's the driest it's ever been.
Yeah,
that is bananas to me. Like as much as you may worry about whether we can handle an inch of rain all at once, we really do need it.
Oh, we do, but I don't know having so much of it at once is a good thing either.
It would be better if you had like a whole week of it, but not during the Mayflower Marathon, because quite frankly, I'm more concerned about my own comfort, and there's nothing worse during that event than rain.
Well, we're looking at sunny skies and 50s during the
perfect.
Yeah,
that's great. But when it rains, I'll take that. I'll take a snowstorm over a rainstorm at the Mayflower Marathon any day.
Oh, absolutely. Because at least the snow you can push out of the way. The rain.
When it rains, your whole body aches when you're standing on blacktop for 52 hours.
I'm talking about like sleet up in the hills tomorrow because of the elevation and all that stuff. So it's gonna be kind of a mess.
It's gonna be a weird day.
A woman has died after a head-on crash in Huntington on Monday. Northwestern DA's office spokesperson Lori Loisel said that a vehicle driven by a 74-year-old woman from Beckett and a cement truck driven by a 59-year-old man from Huntington collided around 5 p.m. The crash happened on Pondbrook Road near Old Town Road. The woman was taken to Cooley Dickinson Hospital in Northampton and then transferred to Bay State Medical Center in Springfield, where she died around 11:30 p.m. The woman's name has not been released at this time. The crash is being investigated by the Huntington Police, state police detectives attached to the DA's office, and state police troopers with the Crime Scene Services section and the Collision Analysis Reconstruction section. There was also another accident on the Mass Pike yesterday. A portion of the Mass Pike was closed a Tuesday afternoon due to a crash. Mass DOT announced the closure in a post on X shortly before 4 p.m. The affected stretch ran between exit 51 and 49, with the westbound lanes closed just after exit 51. No details yet have been released on that crash. I heard some rumors that it was pretty horrific. So hopefully that's not true, but
let's hope
I'm
not.
guessing it is.
This is a distressing newscast.
Well,
I'm
horrible
trying. Story after another.
Well, it's not my fault. I didn't go out and
I'm not blaming you. I'm
spread
just
the bad juju. It's also isn't it sweeps week for the TV stations?
Might be. I mean, I'm not blaming you, but it's just like that's a lot of very sad news.
All right. Well, you want to hear something happy?
Anything.
Something else?
Yes.
Something maybe.
How about some news you can use?
News you can use? Well, we ain't got none of that.
I know we don't have any of that, but I'm just saying.
A 61-year-old woman in Florida named Cheryl Hyatt was arrested last week during a domestic disturbance. This is a happy story.
It's already turning around.
She apparently flipped out when her daughter said she wanted to leave to live with her father. Cheryl's 90-year-old mother was also there at the time. Cheryl was also upset that she pulled out a pink taser and a kitchen knife, pointed them both at her daughter and mother, and shouted, "I have a taser! I have pepper spray. Who's first?"
Wow, that's you're right. That is a much lighter story.
She also blocked the door to keep them from leaving, but the daughter eventually escaped through the garage, and the grandmother removed a barricade to get out through the front door, and no one was hurt. But at least she gave them the choice. Which one of you wants the beat down first?
Yeah, at that point, eeny, meeny, miny, mo doesn't really doesn't help you out much.
All right, you want a happy story?
Yes, I do.
Miller Lite there's nothing happy about Miller Lite. They're releasing a limited edition Yule Lager, which they describe as a digital beer pouring fireplace. It's basically a piece of furniture itself, and it doesn't connect to an actual fireplace. It includes a custom LED screen that makes it look like you've got a real fire going along with a custom audio track of a crackling fire, kind of like the Yule log you used to see on TV.
Yeah.
It also holds beer, specifically Miller Lite, assuming that's your thing. You can store cans below the screen, and when you're ready to celebrate, you can pour the beers into a clear insulated tube that looks like a chimney, and then there's a spout at the bottom to dispense it.
Now, how much would I have to spend for something like this? Does it say?
$250.
Worth every penny.
They only made 50 of them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, or fortunately for your partner, this is not going to be widely available. They're releasing it this Friday in their online store while supplies last. A second drop will happen the following Friday.
Well, thank goodness, because I wouldn't want to miss out on something like this.
And if you miss out, they have their Yule Lager Fire available for streaming on YouTube. It's a 9-hour loop, so you can keep it going all night long.
Awesome.
See, I told you we'd end on a happy note.
See, thank you, Steve.
Listen.
Thanks for making it happen.
And wait till you hear the news I got for you coming up. Coming up after this. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain with a high of 48. It's 39 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:52, and Paul McCartney with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 60. Tomorrow, lots of rain. Could see up to an inch of rain throughout the day with a high of 48. It's 39 right now in downtown Springfield. You have the thing about the Thunderbirds game?
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Let me talk about the Thunderbirds game here just one second. Yes, Rock 102 and Affordable Waste Solutions take over the Mass Mutual Center on Friday of this week, the Mayflower Marathon night. The Springfield Thunderbirds come and watch the Springfield Thunderbirds take on the Charlotte Checkers and kick off Mayflower Marathon's big events with Rock 102. First 3,000 fans in attendance will get a Mayflower Marathon Goldie Glove oven mitt. You can also purchase your 50/50 raffle tickets by visiting Springfield Thunderbirds 5050.com. The proceeds from that raffle will be donated to the Mayflower Marathon and to the Open Pantry. It's this Friday night at the Thunderdome from Affordable Waste Solutions and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
So last year we did this, and the last couple of years we've done this, and it's always been the day before Thanksgiving. And what we've come to find out is that it's not a very well-attended game just because I think it's the night before Thanksgiving. And we had this. We used to get up in that little nest up there, and we had like a kind of like a VIP thing, I guess. For
they now call it the perch.
The perch. The perch up in the corner, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to be doing that this year. We actually are just going to be down in the stands with the rest of the fans down there, and we have a section that we're going to be in. And we're going to enjoy the game that way, and we're going to participate in all the things. You and I are going to do the puck drop. We're going to do.
We'll be on the fan bony.
We'll be on the fan bonies in the first period, and then I asked because last year we got the privilege to park inside the Mass Mutual Center.
Yeah,
you remember that?
I do.
Yeah, and there's a limited number of those spaces to go in there.
Yes,
and so then I was presented to me yesterday. By Aaron upstairs. I said, hey, did you ask about the parking thing? Because that would be kind of cool to park in there again. You park right inside that convention center hall, right?
Yeah.
And she got back to me and she said, well, there's only one available, and you or Bax can decide who gets that. And I, as the cake, what did you call me?
Potentated birthday cake.
Potentated birthday cake. Committee chair.
Yeah.
Cake czar, whatever. Went out of my official capacity as that to make an executive decision, and I just said, I will take that space. So I will be the one that gets the bougie parking space this year. You, sir, are out. And I know you didn't get a say in that, but a decision had to be made. An executive needed to be present. I felt like I was an executive. I made the decision, and now I will get that.
Well, Steve, let me peel the curtain, be a little bit here, so you can see what else goes on behind your back. Aaron came up to me because you were after the show yesterday. You had not yet come up from doing your duties here, and asked me about that parking space.
Yeah.
And here's what I said.
Yeah.
Shows you what kind of a mensch I am. I said, well, Steve's going to be there with his kids, just my wife and I. We could park in the casino. It's okay. Steve could take that parking space.
Has that how that conversation went down?
I was willing to yield that space, even though I've certainly put in more time in this place than you have. And
but that's the reason why I chose it, because you are the senior man. You usually get all the other perks around here.
What perks do I get? I get nothing.
You get a lot more perks than I do, believe me. And rightfully so. I guess you're the senior man here. You're the union steward, if you will, of Rock 102. But I, as an advocate for the smaller people in this building, have decided I'm going to take that space.
Well, that is very single-minded of you.
I also have extra spaces in my van. So I was going to offer that to any other employees up here.
Oh, yes.
Who wanted to ride, I'll pick you up somewhere and,
Well, look at you being so generous to all the other people on staff except me.
Well, because this is payback.
For what?
Let me remind you, Mr. Ball Tasting Committee. A few years ago, you never even told me about that.
I didn't think it was a big deal.
Yes, it was a big deal because we had been talking about it so much about being on the Ball Tasting Committee for the Bright Nights Ball.
Yeah,
and I said, well, I'd like to be a part of that, or at least we should, because it would be something we could talk about on the radio.
Sure.
Unbeknownst to me, you went and did it didn't say anything, and I didn't even know until a month after the fact, until Judy Mack comes in here and goes, "Thanks for coming to the ball tasting committee. We really had a good time with you." And I just went, "What? We didn't even discuss what you tasted, what kind of balls you tasted over at that ball tasting committee."
Were you jealous of the ball tasting?
I felt marginalized.
Would you like some ball tasting in the future?
And it's not the first time I've felt marginalized around here. In the 19 years I've been here,
Yeah.
I felt marginalized several times.
Well, then let me tell you
my employment here.
Let me tell you what my intention will be, okay? Because and I'm sure it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That Judy will say, because it's not every year. I'm not on the ball tasting committee every year. It's like every other year or so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. When Judy asks me in the future, next year, year after, whatever, I'm never going to tell Judy what she should do. She's she's the grand dame of the entire city.
This isn't Judy's fault.
If I am asked again to serve in the ball tasting committee, Steve, much like the parking space underneath the Mass Mutual Center, I will cede that to you and say to Judy, thank you very much for asking, but I think Steve would really appreciate to being on the ball tasting committee.
No.
And I would like him to
No.
serve in my absence.
No, because something now has come into my favor, so I will continue to choose. I would rather just walk up a flight of stairs to get to my seat at a Thunderbirds game than I would wasting my time at a ball tasting committee.
You know, this whole cake thing with you is starting to give you a sense of power, like a false sense of power.
Yeah, because we're making changes around here.
Are we really making changes?
I'm the Norma Ray of Rock 102.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're unionizing, and we're saying we're not going to take it. Just as Twisted Sister does 18 times a day here at Rock 102. We're not going to take it anymore.
Okay.
And this is how we're going to settle this.
All right, Steve. Well, I'm going to try to move on and try not to trip over the ego that's spilling all over the floor here. But
and one more thing.
Yeah?
Oh, we don't have time. It's 6:59.
Rock 102 is the... Brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, the one-stop quick in-and-out store for property managers, landlords, handyman, and contractors.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Hey, do you remember when the Cleveland Cavaliers appeared to be the most dominant basketball team in the NBA? Oh, sure, it seems like it might have been only 12 hours ago. They sure seem to be on the right track, what with having knocked down 15 straight wins without a loss. My goodness, that used to be impressive. That wasn't until the team walked into the TD Garden last night to face the human buzzsaw known as the Boston Celtics. You know, the allegedly second-best team in the Eastern Conference. Last night, Jason Tatum of the Celtics ripped through the Cleveland Cavaliers like innocently delicious pigs in a slaughterhouse. Oh, sure, the Celtics kept it close, winning the game 120-117, but the purpose here was not to pound the Cavaliers in a lopsided 50-point blowout. The purpose was to simply inform the Cavaliers they're simply not that good. Instead, they went from being the only undefeated team in the league to quickly transforming themselves into losers. Look at these numbers. Jason Tatum, 33 points, 18 of which come behind the three-point line, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and a pair of steals. And it wasn't all him. Every one of the Celtics starting five were in double digits last night. Did the soon-to-be no longer undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers get that sort of performance out of their starting five? No, they did not. How come? Perhaps it had something to do with the fact they're not that good. Or perhaps it had everything to do with the fact that the Celtics are simply a better team. So much better, in fact, that they were able to do what 15 other teams couldn't. And that was to put those sloppy posers in their place, which for the moment is still 2.5 games ahead of the Celtics. But I'm sure that'll change when both teams meet up again on Sunday, December 1st, where I'm sure Cleveland will enjoy their second public beatdown, assuming somebody doesn't get there first. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. When the storm arrives, don't grab a shovel. You get behind your errands or your ego. Go to Rocky's for the Aaron Snow Thrower or the Ego battery-powered Snow Thrower, but both on sale right now at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain, lots of it, with a high of 48. It's 39 right now in downtown Springfield. So, I was just outside, and I saw a deer.
Did you really?
Out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I wonder if that was the one that went in the swimming pool in East Longmeadow the other day. You think it could be from the same family?
I don't know if there's the same family. There's a lot of deer in this area, but I got to believe all the deer are talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
You hear what happened to Dasher? He jumped into somebody's pool.
Yeah.
Kid's such an idiot.
And I said, I yelled out to the deer, and I'm like, hey, are you the one that was in the swimming pool? And he goes, listen, stop asking questions or you're going to get antlered.
You know, I don't know what kind of reindeer games they're playing here in East Longmeadow, but as soon as a deer cannonballs into your pool, it's time to start thinking about, is there another way to cover the pool? You know, am I really protecting the pool? Because deer jumps in, could really mess up your liner. There has to be like a deer-resistant pool liner that you can buy.
It was a teenage deer, from what I was
probably
told.
done on a dare.
Or he saw his reflection in the pool.
Yes.
And he comes home all sopping wet, and the mom deer, the doe, she's like, oh, my God, you smell like a wet dog. What have you been doing?
And the kid says, nothing, Mom. Leave me alone.
Nothing. Yeah, and then the father, he's like the a-hole deer on Rudolph.
Right.
Oh, Mr. Big Shot, huh? Mr. Big Shot thought he saw his reflection in the pool, huh? Yeah. I bet you won't be playing any deer games around here anytime soon.
That's because he's a misfit.
Yeah, you're going to get antlered. What is that, Dad? It's not a handshake, son. It's a way of life.
You know that deer is a bad seed in that family.
Yeah.
They're all saying, why can't you be more like your older brother? Because I'm not, man.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not like my brother. Maybe I got other things going on, man.
You know, that deer in the Rudolph's dad.
Yeah.
He sounded very much like the guy who was the voiceover for that Crazy Police Chases show. All right. This little buck thought he could get away with it, but instead he got a one-way ticket to jail.
This young buck thought he could cannonball into someone's backyard's pool.
And he didn't. He got all wet, and he splashed himself
Without any flotation device or a water jacket.
He thought getting antlered was going to be a walk in the park. Unfortunately, it's a fast-track way to regret all your life choices.
Deer are stupid animals. They are the remarkably stupid animals.
I believe we have some deer experts on the phone.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah,
I don't even know here. Let's see. What do we got here? Okay. Well, I don't have anybody.
Oh, nobody? Oh, that was weird.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, here we go. Rock 102. Good morning. Who's this?
Yeah, this is the deer that's outside.
Yeah.
Why are you guys making fun of me?
Yeah, because what kind of dumb buck falls in a pool like that?
I got news for you there, Rudolph. Everybody's making fun of you.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your call.
That was a bad move that we answered the phone.
Yeah.
That's okay.
How does a deer dial a phone? That's what I want to know. With the hooves.
Well, with the antler. He's got the antler.
Really?
He can push button the phone.
He'd have a hell of a time with the rotary dial.
Or maybe he's got one of those iPhones that when you drop it, it immediately calls emergency services. That's how the deer got out of the pool. He had his iPhone 16. It shook.
Oh, my God.
I can't believe we're talking about this.
Well, you know what? It's big news. It's big news. It's first of all.
Well, we went through this whole newscast of all these depressing, deadly stories, and I'm just trying to be on the up and up here.
You know, here's the part of that story that no one has asked, and I'm going to be the first one to ask.
Yeah.
So the deer jumps into the pool, right? Mm-hmm. He gets rescued. He gets himself out.
Yeah.
He gets out of the pool, and all of a sudden you got all these EMTs rushing to see if the deer is okay.
Yeah.
How's the pool?
Well, the pool's got a ripped liner, and now they got to replace that whole thing because his antlers scratched the side of it.
Steve, you've owned a pool. You know what it's like. If you rip a liner, that could be, depending on the size of the pool, that could be a few $1,000.
That was actually the reason why I got rid of the pool, so I didn't have any rogue deer coming through my yard feeling like they could take a swim in that thing.
Listen, in Huntington, you probably got a whole menagerie of, you got Noah's Ark could be in like the Westfield River and find a way to your house.
Walking out there, there's squirrels, there's chipmunks. They're all having a good time, sliding down the slide.
All there with their towels.
Yeah. Oh, it's open swim. And be like, no, the elderly swims in this portion of the day. This is from 2 to 4 where the elderly have the pool and they can do their aerobics and things like that. This is no animal time in the pool.
You got to see all these old does in the pool.
Oh,
You're like, okay, hooves up, hooves down, to the left, to the right. Come on, Mel. Come on, Zelda. You can do a little bit better than that. Work it, baby. Work it.
And they got the little arm floaties on the little fawns. Just swimming around, learning how to swim. This one that jumped in never had one swim lesson in his entire life. He was always told by his father, "Don't go near that water. That might kill you someday. And don't be calling for me when you need help."
I don't know. I mean, I would be more concerned with the pool. Those are very expensive. Pools are not cheap.
Yeah. We should talk to Teddy over at Teddy Bear Pools and Spas
Yes.
and see what is the best way to repel deer from jumping in the pool and having a good time.
I have to believe this is not the first time this has happened, that a deer or a bear finds himself in the pool. I mean, if we were close to if it was like a rock star living in the area, there's probably one that has driven a car into a pool. Keith Moon style.
And nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
The car is just left there in the pool. There's no driver. They're assuming it was a human, but it could have been the deer.
I'm telling you what, these deer, once they get a head full of steam, they'll do anything. And again, they're not going to pay for the ripped liner. They're not going to pay for the broken siding.
Yeah, we live in Mother Nature is not friendly sometimes.
No, I think she got a real chip on her shoulder, that woman.
Yeah. Now this deer, the deer is going to be wanted to jump off the diving board. He wanted to do his triple Lundy. It was called the Triple Lundy, I think it was called.
I cannot lie, Dean Martin.
Yeah.
The paper was mine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you call me when you have no class? Yeah.
Maybe you could help me straighten out my Longfellow.
Wouldn't it be cool to see a deer do a triple Lundy into the swimming pool?
Like Greg Louganis style.
Yes, very much so.
Just as long as it hit his antlers on the platform, you should be okay.
You got to have enough clearance when you jump off that thing.
You do need that.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very interesting conversation.
Well, I'm hoping the DCR is listening because as a cake czar of Rock 102.
The potentate of birthday cake.
I'm trying to make some changes around here.
Yeah. Listen, you're clearly pushing your power.
Well,
it's really going to your head.
Listen, free parking, Grand Marnier cakes. What else can we? And no deer in the swimming pool. What else can we demand from this position?
I'm really starting to worry about you.
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I see this stemming from a lot of anger and resentment about the ball tasting.
Well, you know what? That really hurt. That hurt big time, especially after that war we went through with the Bax Steve and Dave show. That was my personal hell that I went through.
That was your personal Vietnam.
It was.
Yeah, you had all that post-traumatic stress. Yeah, I got you.
Every time somebody says I got a buddy, I go immediately back to March of 2022.
Well, the next time I hear about any ball tasting, I'll think of you, okay?
Fair enough.
It's 7:23 on Rock 102.
Rock 102 and Aqua
26 at Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, this week on Baxi's Musical Podcast, my guest is Des Rocks, an amazing band out of Long Island. They just reissued their second album, Dream Machine, the Lucid Edition. It's got 4 new tracks, 2 live tracks. It's unbelievable. It's an incredibly talented band. Actually, it's the brainchild of a guy named Danny Rocco. Unbelievable. Kind of like when you hear it for the very first time and you're going, what did I just hear? Incredible stuff. And he was hand-selected to open up for the Rolling Stones a few years ago. So the Rolling Stones don't pick slouches ever. They don't have to. You can hear it on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as the Rock 102 app. It's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, if you hadn't had too much of an upset stomach this morning, I'll add to that.
Okay.
Pizza Hut just dropped its own pizza-flavored wine made with tomatoes instead of grapes. They say it captures the essence of your favorite slice in every sip.
Is there like additional grease inside the each bottle?
Grease. Yeah. Do you have to heat it up in the microwave?
Or you could just eat it cold the next day.
It's red, obviously. It's called Tomato Wine by Pizza Hut. Ooh, that's a catchy name. They partnered it on with a winery in Kansas because when you think of good wine, you definitely think Kansas, don't you?
Oh, yeah, the fine vintners of Kansas, Wichita.
Yeah. Forget that Napa Valley out in California. Kansas is where the winery is at.
The wines of Kansas. What do you say we jet on down to Wichita this year to sample the fine wines?
Oh, I would love to go to Wichita. Beautiful this time.
Oh, it's breathtaking.
They're selling 375 milliliter half bottles at irvinwinery.com for $25, and you have to buy at least 2.
That sounds like a threat.
Well, because they have to get rid of it. They know it's bad. They're like, listen.
They want a garage full of bad wine.
Yeah. We got to get rid of this stuff. There is also a $60 gift box version that comes with a wine opener and 2 Pizza Hut branded wine glasses.
Again, another threat.
Yeah, they describe it as an aromatic blend of fresh herbs and spices with rich sun-ripened tomatoes and a subtle hint of toasted oak. That sounds like the most disgusting thing that has ever been described to me as a beverage.
It's like drinking a pizza and a log at the same time.
Yeah. Listen, do it the right way. Do it the way we've always done it. You grab a pizza from Pizza Hut and you pour Natty Daddy all over it. And that's what you use as a dipping sauce. Ta-da!
It's 7:29. News is next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass News.
7:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Crews are still battling a large brush fire in Great Barrington. In a photo from the Litchfield, Connecticut Fire Department, fire could be seen spreading its way through a heavily wooded area of Great Barrington. The fire has also created a lot of smoke, so much that it's creating smoky conditions as far away as Litchfield, about 35 to 40 miles away. As a reminder, if you do see a brush fire pop up somewhere, be sure to report it to your local fire department.
Oh, I'm not supposed to just ignore it and drive away?
No, I guess not.
Even if I just assume the fire department already knows?
Yeah, the fire department. We don't need photos from you.
Okay,
we know where it is.
Yeah, but you probably should let them know.
You should report it. A major storm swept across the northwest U.S. Tuesday evening, battering the region with strong winds and rain, causing widespread power outages and downed trees that killed at least one person. The Weather Prediction Center issued excessive rainfall risks through Friday, and hurricane-force wind warnings were in effect as the strongest atmospheric river, which is a large plume of moisture that California and the Pacific Northwest has seen this season, overwhelms the region. The storm is considered a bomb cyclone, which occurs when a cyclone intensifies rapidly. Isn't there a drink named after that?
The cyclone?
The bomb cyclone.
The bomb cyclone. Let me see.
Downed trees struck homes and littered across northwestern Washington. In Linwood, Washington, a woman died Tuesday night when a large tree fell on a homeless encampment. South County Fire said in a statement on X. In Seattle, a tree fell onto a vehicle, temporarily trapping a person inside. The agency later said the individual was in stable condition. Early Wednesday, over 600,000 homes in Washington state were reported to be without power on poweroutage.us. But the number of outage reports fluctuated wildly throughout the evening, likely due in part to several weather and utility agencies struggling to report information on the storm because of internet outages and other technical problems.
There is a cyclone cocktail. Is that what?
Maybe
is that
that's
what you're thinking?
I'm thinking of. Yeah, I think I've heard that before. What's that involved?
Let's see. I'm trying to get to. All right, so you got Grand Marnier. You like that?
Yeah.
Lemonade, grapefruit juice, citron vodka.
All right.
Sounds very, very tart.
Yeah. Tart doesn't even really sound like,
You got orange, lemon, and grapefruit all in one glass.
No.
No?
No.
Wouldn't do it to you? Too fruity?
Take out the juice. Yeah.
Take out the Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
No, just take out the lemonade and the grapefruit juice and mix the vodka and the Grand Marnier together.
Oh yeah, that's called a power outage, I believe. Speaking of power, I
was gonna say that they should be naming that. I was gonna say the DUI.
The DUI, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
The
there's a
DUI
lot,
cocktail.
Yeah, there's a lot of those that could have that second name, like a Long Island iced tea.
Right.
Eversource is warning customers to be on the lookout for schemers contacting them, pretending to be representatives of the utility company. Whether it's by phone, email, or at the door, these schemers use urgency or threats to shut off your power to get you to provide personal information or make payments. Eversource wants customers to know that they do not solicit door-to-door on the phone or behalf of third agency suppliers. All Eversource employees carry photo identification, wear branded clothing, and drive company vehicles. Listen, these are fake scammers. We're the real scammers here. We're the ones that jacking up the rates on you.
Does any legitimate business do any kind of door-to-door sales anymore?
I don't know. And I don't know anybody.
To me, it's like considering all the fraud that you hear about every single day, the idea that there is a company that believes that door-to-door sales is the best approach seems to be completely ridiculous to me. Like, who in their right minds would open the door for a door-to-door salesman today? I wouldn't do it.
Probably not a lot of people.
And it happens every now and then. There's a guy walking up and down the street want to sell me solar panels.
Solar panels or the driveway guy. The one, we'll come and do your driveway. We'll fill in all the cracks and everything, and with this stuff.
Yeah, earlier in the year, this I couldn't even believe this. Door-to-door salesman comes right to the house, knocks on the door. I answer the door. They're selling Girl Scout cookies, and I tell this little lady, "You get the hell off my lawn with your damn cookies. You're not gonna scam me into buying dosey-dos." I showed her a thing or two. She ran away back to her mother's car in tears. But you know what? I'm not going to fall for that phony scam.
All I can think of is Larry David answering the door for the Girl Scout. And I'm not even going to describe what the scene was, but if you get a chance, go look it up.
It is maybe the most
uncomfortable, awful thing that one of the most awful things that he could ever present.
Because there's so much to choose from in that show.
Yes, there was. That particular scene.
This was bad. This was bad.
That was bad.
I laughed, but it was an uncomfortable laugh.
Well, of course. They would never ask customers to use prepaid debit cards or go to a department or grocery store to make a payment. The real scammers take it right out of your bank account like Eversource does every month.
Now, that's a scammer you can respect.
Jared Lawrence with Eversource said, because we've been so effective at getting the word out over the years about typical schemes, these scammers are not going away. They're trying to innovate. If you hear something that does feel a little bit off, your instincts should always be hung up. Don't trust that text that came out of the blue. Always go and verify with a legitimate source. Eversource. No, he didn't say that.
You didn't say that?
He should have said that. You should verify with her good Eversource, not just a source. You know?
Yeah, I listen, you're absolutely right, Steve.
The Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education traveled to Western Mass on Tuesday to hold a meeting at Holyoke High School for a first-hand look at the district's plans to take back local control. DESE officials touched on several topics yesterday, including Holyoke's transition out of state control. But another hot topic was the end of the MCAS requirement. Delita Rocha from the DSE board said, whether you've been in this country for 6 months or a year, you're expected to pass that test because one size fits all, and that's fairness. And to me, that is the definition of unfair. During the 2024 election, the ballots of voters in Massachusetts spoke loud and clear. I think the voters of Massachusetts were given one choice to articulate that we want change. I'm not sure that was the best articulation of the change we should have, but I think the voters do need to be listened to, and that change needs to occur. That's according to board member Michael Moriarty. So now they're trying to figure out what can we replace it with. You shouldn't.
They're not getting rid of it. They're just eliminating the graduation requirement.
But they're talking about what they should replace a requirement with in order for you to be on level with everybody else.
Yeah, but does that mean a test, or does that just mean regular schoolwork that's graded?
Not sure.
And like attendance, because sometimes you don't have either one.
Yeah. Question 2, passed in the Bay State, abolished the MCAS graduation requirement once and for all. The exam was a hot topic at DESE's board meeting on Tuesday, where several districts spoke out on the topic. Back in 2015, Holyoke Public Schools were put under receivership for chronic underperformance with years of low MCAS scores. So it was the very reason that they got into receivership was because they weren't doing well on these tests. But that doesn't mean that the teachers did a bad job.
No, there's lots of reasons for why kids don't pass the test. And it usually has nothing to do with the teachers. This test did not at any point achieve what its initial goal was. And frankly, I think it's been counterproductive to actual education. People can argue with me all they want, but I think it has been a negative experiment since it was enacted many years ago.
Yeah, it was like 25 years ago they put this requirement in.
It wasn't a great idea then, and it isn't that great of an idea now. Again, you're asking for minimum standards to fit in every possible scenario in the state, and not every city and town has the same situation. You know, kids that may be in a very good school system may have no problem passing it, but then you may have a problem in a bigger city where you just don't have the same level, and to me it's inherently unfair.
Well, now they're trying to figure out what to do now. So we'll see what happens with this whole thing, what their next step is.
Listen, I can't fix everybody's problems.
No, but I mean, if the voters said we don't want this anymore, why are you trying to push something else that nobody wants?
Because everybody wants standards, and a lot of people believe that these standards should be, that it's a one-size-fits-all situation, and it's simply not.
Are you too old to learn something new?
My learning curve is a little bit longer than it used to be.
In a new survey, 36% of all Americans think they're too old to learn. And it isn't just the boomers. In fact, 74% of boomers claim they love learning new things. About 60% say learning something new is more rewarding now than when they were younger. Technically, you can love learning new things and get excited about it and still feel like you're too old for this stuff.
I don't think I'm too old to learn. I've learned a lot of things, but there are certain things that just take longer for me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like certain technology is getting harder for me to really grasp.
Yeah.
Yeah, like certain things that seem so easy are now a little bit more laborious.
You just got to have AI do it for you now.
Well,
That's
yeah,
why
but
you
see,
need an
but
AI
it's AI learning. It's not me learning. And even I can't rely on AI to get it right.
Nah, but it's giving you information.
Yeah, I guess.
Who cares if it's wrong?
Yeah, well, see, but having it right information is usually the better approach.
No. Nobody cares about right information anymore.
No, well, schools do. That's why they got the MCAS.
No, actually, they don't. We got rid of it. Nobody cares about right information.
No, you got rid of the requirement. The test still remains.
Naturally, learning new things often involves technology, but it can also be like learning a new language, picking up a hobby, or adding a skill to your arsenal and honoring existing ones, which is why I have named myself Cake Czar of Rock 102.
Yeah, you're a real change agent around this
place. I am a
place.
change agent around here.
Yeah, you really are.
Things are going to change around here, and for the better. You will thank me when everybody is eating bougie cake for their birthday in the months of whatever month they're celebrating their birthdays.
Listen, I'm going to like Cake Day.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. But I think you may be on to taking a little bit too much on.
And we're going to be we're changing the language around here. Everybody needs to speak in skibbity toilet. Grandma Marnier cake is riz, brah. Faux shizzle. Yeah.
Skibbity-doo.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain, lots of it, with a high of 48. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
They say prep.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:52. And Fleetwood Mac with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rain, lots of it, with a high of 48. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
Again, the Mayflower Marathon is beginning this coming Monday at MGM Springfield, just outside the South End Market. In front of the parking garage, the goal is to fill as many trailers with non-perishable food donations as is humanly possible for the Open Pantry. We had Nicole and Jonathan in here yesterday from the Open Pantry talking about the need and how severe it is. It is bad. And to do it, we're going to need your help. All of you. Start up your collection now. You get the whole weekend to put things together at work or at school or at home. You can even donate online at rock102.com. It starts Monday at 6 a.m. and continues until Wednesday, the 27th at 10 a.m. Thanks to all of our sponsors, including Capital Moving and Storage, Xfinity, Camping World of West Hatfield, MGM Springfield, and many more. To get all the details about the Mayflower Marathon and how you can help, go to the rock102.com. It's Mayflower Marathon this Monday on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Yeah, we waited forever to get one of these Jersey Mike's subs here.
Yeah.
And now Jersey Mike's is being sold to Blackstone, the private equity firm, said on Tuesday. Blackstone is set to acquire a majority stake in the fast casual sandwich chain. The deal, for a reported valuation of $8 billion, came the morning after a media report said a deal was set to be announced this week. We believe we are in the still early innings of Jersey Mike's growth story and that Blackstone is the right partner to help it reach even greater heights.
So, in other words, a corporate takeover is going to wind up destroying Jersey Mike's for all of us.
Right, because what they do is when they come in and they take over everything, they start cheapening up the ingredients.
Yeah, they figure, well, how can we save? We just spent a fortune. How can we save a few bucks?
How can we make more money?
You know, I wish we lived in a society in which we could all just make more money and buy and take over things. I would love to be like a magnate of something.
Yeah, it's never going to happen for you.
I know it's never going to happen. I don't have the kind of capital to become a magnate, but I would like to know what a mogul, a magnate feels like.
I think George Carlin said it best. It's a big club and you ain't in it.
It's true.
Which is very true.
And to know that there's a better chance of me being a mogul or a magnate than of you going onto the ball tasting committee for the Bright Nights Ball.
Well, listen, I felt marginalized.
Steve.
That I wasn't invited to.
I am sorry.
I felt marginalized after months of talking about it, saying I would be interested in that. It just went by the wayside. You know, the idea, and I said, well, maybe we'll hear about that ball tasting soon. And then all of a sudden, Judy comes in here to talk about the, and rightfully so, to talk about the 9/11 memorial thing. But you had already done the ball tasting. And why? I don't know why you withheld that information from me. Usually when we come in the morning, we're like, oh, this is what I did yesterday. This is what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
We're trying to get topics to talk about. That would have been a perfect topic to talk about, that you were on the ball tasting committee. But for some reason, you felt you didn't need to share that.
Well, it wasn't a conspiracy against you, Steve.
But why wouldn't you share something that would have been a great topic of fodder for this morning show?
I don't tell you everything that's going on in my life.
But it's not about everything that's going on in your life. I'm talking about things that would be relatable to an audience that we talk about.
I don't know how many people in our audience have ever experienced ball tasting.
I've seen a few of them. Some of them drive trucks, and their name is George. Yeah! Gotcha. I got you right there, pal.
George.
Yeah.
You guys aren't funny.
Oh, Steve, you're not funny anymore. I don't understand. Why do you keep talking about Dave Coombs all the time? I'm going to go back to tasting balls in my truck. That's where the truck nuts came from.
It's 7:56 on Rock 102. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:11 and Rush with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 60. Tomorrow, lots of rain with a high of 48. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield.
So let me ask you a couple of questions, Mr. Potentate of Birthday Cake.
Yes.
Will there be ice cream on these cakes?
We can get ice cream if you'd like to.
Yeah, I would like to get ice cream.
And you don't get a choice on that. That's dealer's choice on the ice cream. You're just going to get a basic vanilla.
See, I don't really mind vanilla. I don't have a problem with that. All right, so here's my next question.
Yeah.
You ever take your kids to like the Boston Museum of Science or the Boston Aquarium?
No, we don't like things about learning.
Yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we've been to something like that.
all right, okay.
Yeah.
So you know, there's things to do in Boston that that are different from all the way out here. There's a new place to go in Boston to take the kids. Get a load of this. Boston's Seaport District is about to get a whole lot sweeter. The Museum of Ice Cream will open at its Boston location on Saturday, December 14th. The Boston branch will join museum's other locations in New York, Austin, Chicago, Miami, and Singapore.
Oh, Singapore.
The Museum of Ice Cream features dozens of immersive installations that let people eat unlimited ice cream, play games, and learn about the history of ice cream making, which nobody cares about. But
Unlimited ice cream.
Unlimited ice cream. It also features some popular exhibits, including the sprinkle pool, where guests can slide down in a slide into a pool of giant plastic sprinkles. Other installations include the cookie living room, a living room entirely crafted from cookie motifs to the Hall of Freezers, and a room filled with 24 mysterious doors with surprise treats behind each one. Now, I went to this website for this one in Boston because you had me hooked at the idea of all-you-can-eat ice cream. Now, I don't know if you've got a time limit. I don't know if it's all day, like you can eat as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Until like an ambulance takes you away. But apparently, this is you have to buy advance tickets.
Yeah.
If you want to get the best price. And it's like a surge pricing system. So, for example, on opening day, Saturday, December 14th, you can arrive anytime, even when it's sold out, because you will have bought in advance for only $73.
$73?
But you get all the ice cream.
Per person?
Yes, per person. But you get all the ice cream that you could ever possibly eat.
How much ice cream could you possibly eat?
Look at me. A lot.
No, but I'm talking about in one sitting.
Yeah.
For $73, and that's all you're getting is ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you think you could eat $73 worth of ice cream?
Depends on the quality of the ice cream. I mean, if you're talking about like Hoodsie Cups, could I eat $75 worth of Hoodsie Cups? Yeah, well, maybe. I could pack that away.
You know, Augustus Jackson was one of the people who were credited of creating ice cream, inventing ice cream. There were several people. Believe me, I know my ice cream history. This man would come back. What if he went in a time machine and showed up today?
Okay.
What do you think he would say to a place charging $75 for this thing the very thing that he helped invent?
Well, if he is a proud man, he would probably be more impressed with the fact that there is a museum for his creation, rather than how much it'll cost to get a VIP ticket to the ice cream museum at $73 a shot. I should tell you, though, that the general admission price is significantly less.
Oh, really?
$45.
$45.
Now, you could probably eat $45 of ice cream, don't you think?
Well, how much ice cream is that?
It's as much.
That's the off-peak one time? Is that what you're saying?
That would be peak. The 10 a.m. morning session is $45.
I don't know how I can eat that much ice cream at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's more of a 5 p.m. kind of thing.
All right, well, at 5 p.m., the price drops down to about $33. Do you think you could eat $33 worth of ice cream?
Yeah, I could eat $33 worth of ice cream.
See, this is why this might just be the greatest thing that's ever been invented, a museum of ice cream.
I don't know.
You know, it reminds me of going to like brewery tours back when I was in college and I didn't have a whole lot of money.
Right.
And I'd go to the breweries, and at the end of the tour, it'd be like a 15, 20-minute tour where you see how like beer is mass-produced, and it's like moderately interesting.
How many times did you see that tour?
Maybe over 50.
Right.
Anyway, the point I'm getting at is this. At the end of the tour, they allowed you to drink as much of their crappy mass-produced beer as you could possibly take for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes. Now try to imagine. And it wasn't really a long line for the beer.
Yeah.
Especially if you went in the afternoon. And it was like $5 to go on the tour. Well, the entrance was right next to the exit. So you could go and do that tour 4 or 5 times in a day. And I did. So I'm just guessing it was probably 50. But we would knock down a whole bunch of Pabst Blue Ribbon to make it happen. Yeah. I got to tell you what, that as you know, have as much as you can in a period of time. It's a wonderful way to spend the day with your family.
That was like Paper City Brew in Holyoke used to do that.
Yeah,
for like $5, you used to be able to go into the brewery, sample as many as you want. It was a 2-hour period. And you could sample as much as you want, and on the way out, they'd give you a 4-pack or whatever beer you wanted. That was a deal.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
It seems a little, from the outside looking in, it seems maybe a little irresponsible to fill everybody up with all the beer they can drink. But you know what?
I don't think they do that anymore.
Probably
There's
not.
a reason probably why they don't do that anymore.
Well, everyone's over 21. They're all adults. I mean, they can do what they want. I'm sure everybody was thinking reasonably. Didn't get out of hand.
Yes, me and my alcoholic friends, we were like, let's enjoy this responsibly. You know what enjoying responsibly is? Buying it and taking it home and not getting behind the wheel of a vehicle, as opposed to slamming as many of those monkey-flavored beers that they had up there, whatever it was called. It was there was a name for it, monkey something that they had. That was like the highest ABV, I believe. Yeah. Well, because that's what we went for.
Yeah. Well, that's again, if it's all you can drink for a period of time, then it's a perfectly good idea.
You know what? Gone are the days of when you could just exploit your alcoholism out in public and nobody cared.
You know, gorging yourself on things that are normally unhealthy seems like it's not a lot of fun. But until you've tried it, until you've been in that situation, do not knock it. Because I got to tell you, the idea of eating all the ice cream I can eat or drinking all the beer I could drink, back when I could drink a lot of beer, those are memories that I don't really remember. But I'm pretty sure I had a great time while I was doing it.
You know, I'd rather go take money and just go over to like Malicious Farms and just have one type of ice cream in a sundae.
Why limit yourself, though, Steve?
Because I'm not spending $75.
All right, well, let's say there's 75 flavors to choose from.
I'm not trying all the flavors.
You don't want to sample all 75?
No, I'll go back there another day and get... I don't want to keep... Lobster ice cream they're promoting. Come on. We're putting fish in the ice cream now?
Well, that's actually a mollusk.
Crustacean.
It's a crustacean,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it sounds interesting.
I don't think it sounds interesting at all. Why would you want that?
To say you've had it. You could say, like, can I have a sample-sized cup of it? Just to try it. I'm not going to get a whole big cone or big waffle bowl of it, dipped in chocolate, with the little butter sprinkles on top.
I'm telling you, if that inventor of ice cream came back today, he'd be like, $75?
Well, that's
$75? I gave you I gave the world joy in a cone, and you turned it into, like a temple of extortion that you're doing here. What's going on?
I don't think if you went, you'd feel like you're being shaken down. You went with a purpose.
I didn't have my dreams thawed to have them frozen by corporate values.
Let me tell you something. If you went to the Boston Aquarium, okay, and many people have, and I think they'll all vouch for this, and you were hungry there.
Yeah.
One, they don't let you grab at the fish and eat them. And then two, that cafeteria in that place is god-awful. Some of the worst food you'll ever have in your life.
Well,
the Boston Museum, the Boston Aquarium, absolutely dreadful. But if you went to the Seaport, which is not that far away, you could go to the ice cream museum, skip the aquarium cafeteria, and eat yourself into oblivion.
Is it an ice cream museum or a mausoleum of greed?
Welcome to Boston.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is it even good? Like, that's the other thing. I'm one of those people that would probably pay for something that had good quality to it. But for $75, how good could the ice cream be for as much as you could eat?
Well, my guess is you got lots of choices. There are going to be some flavors that are better than others, some that are experimental. What I would like to do is I'd like to get a bus full of listeners, our most lactose intolerant listeners, on a bus to go to the ice cream museum and then get back on the bus just to see what happens.
It sounds like a shrine for the gullible and the rich. That's what it sounds like.
Well, count me in for the gullible part. I'm not rich.
They churned the soul of the ice cream inventor into a piggy bank.
All right. 293-1021 if you're what's your best lactose intolerant story?
What's your favorite I pooped after eating ice cream story?
Violently and explosively.
Yes, in the bathroom at the Boston Ice Cream Museum.
Let's all get back on the bus.
Let's go.
It's 8:22 at Rock 102. It's 8:25 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown will have the full forecast for you.
Hey, Pat Kelly is going to be, where's he going to be? He's going to be at the One Way Brewing in Longmeadow tonight between 5 and 7 for the Rock 102's Mug Club. Be one of the first 25 people to buy a beer. You get to take home a Rock 102 mug, Mug Club beer mug. Plus, someone will win a pair of tickets to see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Mohegan Sun on December 1st. That's a pretty good deal. While you're there, try one of their One Way Brewing great beers like their Tropical New England IPA, the Hazy Double IPA, or the Mango Milkshake. It's the Rock 102 Mug Club from 5 to 7 tonight at the One Way Brewing, 807 Maple Road in Longmeadow from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
I don't know what it is today. It must be maybe the moon phases or something. It's like all this bad news.
Yeah, there's a
spread across the internet, and it's not just locally. Locally, there's some horrible stories that you don't even want to talk about. And then there's this woman in Virginia, woman accused of pouring gasoline on victim, sitting on couch, burning her to death.
Why?
And fellas, she's single.
I think it's time to start seeing other people.
I really do think that might be the best option to there.
I'm swiping left on that one.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if she would even pop up on that.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't think she's got a Bumble or something?
No. Maybe. Maybe she's got a Bumble. You have to contact her, though. That's the rules.
And then you got to pay for it, too.
Yeah, I know. Is that worse?
It's awful.
Yeah, but she's got a burning desire for some of those guys.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. You can tell already there's going to be a burning sensation with that relationship.
Well, it's not even a relationship. It was an elderly woman that she set on fire. I'm just talking about how she's a younger woman who's single. She's single.
What a terrible story.
And ready to mingle.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she is.
She'll be mingling in prison.
Well, they use these pictures. Like the picture that they use is clearly like one of her like social media photos.
Why is she like? I haven't seen it.
That would be like that would be another topic in the Steve Nagle College of Criminal Knowledge. If you're gonna do something like this, do not have duck face pictures of yourself that they're gonna use for social media. Remember a few months ago there was a guy missing, and then he had a shirt on that they used. You know, that was like, why would you put that picture up?
I don't. Do you think that maybe in this day and age, late November 2024, that the duck face selfie today is maybe more synonymous with like some sort of personality disorder?
Could be.
Then like if you did it 10 years ago, everyone's thinking, oh, look, she's so full lipped and succulent. But now in 2024, you see it and go, oh, honey, stop it.
In my search to find the best of TikTok.
Yeah,
I found this because I'm interested in like astronomy and stuff like that, and this one page popped across the thing, and it says, "Check out these brand new photos from like the Hubble scope, or what's the other one? Is it the Hubble one?
Not the Hubble? The other one. Yeah,
the other one, the big telescope. This is how interested I am in astronomy that I don't know the names of the telescope. But anyway, it was all these things that they had of the universe. It's like, check out these photos of the planets. And there was this really high-def photos that you had to, like, scroll through. And it was, like, Jupiter and Pluto and Earth. And all of a sudden, it finally got to Uranus, and it was just a picture of somebody's puckered lips.
The James Webb
telescope. Yeah, the Webb telescope. Yeah, well, he gets in there. He gets in there nice and close.
It's 8:29 on Rock 102. 8:33 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A Ashford, Connecticut man was arrested at Bradley International Airport on Monday after a handgun was discovered in his backpack during a TSA screening. Was that wrong?
Yeah, I don't think they allow you to do that.
At around 4:30 a.m., state police responded to a report from TSA about a possible handgun found in a passenger's bag. The firearm was identified as belonging to 38-year-old Jason Hines of Ashford, who told authorities that he had forgotten the gun was in his bag. Hines was arrested without further incident and charged with circumventing airport security.
How do you forget? I've heard that over
people
and
are
over again.
stupid.
How do you forget that this is the bag you put your gun in?
That's a dumb thing to say. I forgot it was in there.
Well, where were you bringing the gun in the bag to begin with?
What?
Well, I was during my last vacation.
Yeah, I had just come back from a war-torn country, and I was protecting myself, and I just happened to leave it in there, and I just grabbed the bag when I was headed off to Milwaukee.
You know, whenever I travel, Steve, and it ain't very often, but whenever I travel and I grab a piece of luggage, I always make sure that everything in the luggage before I start packing is empty so I can fit all the things I want to bring inside the luggage.
And you do an inventory.
Of course.
Your toothbrush, you got your scope.
I got to make sure I got enough drawers, got socks, a pair of pants, a couple shirts.
And scope, I don't mean like a scope on a rifle. I'm talking about like your mouthwash.
Not on those detachable scopes.
Right. The firearm and ammunition were seized as evidence. Hines was later released on a $5,000 bond and is scheduled to appear in Hartford Superior Court on December 9th. But again, I don't know why you think that's a good idea to say, I forgot.
That doesn't seem like something that just you forget.
Shouldn't you always know where your firearm is?
You should. And if you're going to be traveling at an airport, you either check that in or you don't travel with it.
South Windsor police say they arrested one of two motorcyclists that eyewitnesses reported for erratic driving. 24-year-old Michael Dolnick of Enfield was charged with engaging in police in pursuit, reckless driving, operating an unregistered motor vehicle, failure to drive right, no passing zone, and violation of a traffic control signal.
Little busy bee, isn't he?
Dolnick was arrested around 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. The incident happened on August 31st, and we're just hearing about this now.
November 20th.
They said Dolnick and another identified rider rode erratically on two motorcycles on Sullivan Avenue. They were observed by citizens doing wheelies, burnouts, passing traffic, and running red lights. Two South Windsor police officers reportedly saw the erratic driving and tried to stop the riders, but they were able to get away at a high rate of speed. Officers were able to identify Dolnick after they received information from fellow officers in neighboring jurisdictions that he had committed similar violations in their towns. How about that?
If you're doing wheelies on a street in which there's lots of traffic, then you are putting the dick in jurisdiction. That's the way I'm seeing it.
Do you know how they found him?
No.
They found Dolnick's Instagram account, which showed him operating recklessly on his motorcycle just prior to entering South Windsor on Route 30 from Manchester, which corroborated a witness account of the events.
It's a hands-free state, you dope.
No, well, but this is what these pranksters and these other YouTubers and influencers, if you will, TikTokers. That's what they do. They film everything, thinking that they're doing God's work or something.
No, actually, what you're doing is you're doing the prosecutor's work for them.
Yeah, Dolnick turned himself in, was processed and released on a $2,500 non-surety bond. He was scheduled to appear in Manchester Superior Court on December 2nd.
What a dink.
Oh, people are just dumb. Oh, speaking of dumb, I wanted to bring up the phone call that we got off the air about the ice cream thing. Some lady called and said she went to the one in New York City.
Said it was terrible.
Terrible. And she's like, it was all these flavors that nobody would ever eat. That's what I was saying about the lobster ice cream. Like, who's eating that?
Well, I mean, I would try it. If there was like real lobster in there and like real drawn butter.
Yeah.
That might be interesting. A little tartar sauce,
little tartar sauce.
A little tartar sauce would
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah, I don't think it's just one of these gimmicky places to go to. You're better off spending your money at a local creamery.
Of course you would. But you don't go to a local creamery and have all you can eat. You don't have unlimited ice cream.
You don't need it. Most places will give you a sample if you want a spoonful, or take a spoon out and you can try it. If you ask them, what does this one taste like? I've never had it before. And they'll give you a little spoon. Here's a little spoonful of it. Try it. See if you like it. If you want it, we'll make you a sundae out of it.
Listen, we had a guy call who said, "You know what? I love ice cream so much. I don't care if it's lousy. I would rent the bus myself. I would choose the crust of the earth to get to the seaport."
Was that the guy that said he consumed the devil's lettuce?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. He was also the guy that watched the dog get shot.
True, but nevertheless.
A man, we're doing Connecticut news this morning.
Well, someone needs to talk about it.
A man was charged for a number of driving violations in Ledyard, including slow speed, according to police. They identified the driver as 38-year-old McKechnie Bidwood of Cumberland, Rhode Island. Oh, well, of course he's from Rhode Island.
How slow was it going?
Well, this is where we're getting to. Ledyard police said they were conducting traffic enforcement on Route 2 when they spotted a driver traveling at an unreasonably slow speed. Around 12:50 a.m. on Friday. As officers tried to conduct a motor vehicle stop, they said the driver yelled out of his window, refused to stop, and continued driving into the Fox Tower parking garage of Foxwoods. With the help
because he was feeling lucky that night.
With the help of the Mashantucket Tribal Police, the driver was found inside the casino and taken into custody. They identified him as Bidwood. He was taken to the Ledyard Police Department and charged with slow speed, failure to signal, operating a motor vehicle without a license, failure to stop for an officer, interfering with an officer, and breach of peace. You know how fast you were going back there? 65, 78. 8 miles an hour. Bidwood was held at $7,500 cash surety bond and is expected to appear in New London Superior Court tomorrow.
Well, at least he got to the casino. Was he able to play anything while he was there, or would the police get him right away?
I don't think he's going to be winning anything. I think that would have been wasted money if he had put into the slot machine. His luck had already run out by the time he had gotten to the parking garage.
Gotcha.
When you're telling the cop to go around.
I mean, we've all driven 8 miles an hour before on a highway, but that's because everybody else was too.
Yeah, or you had some sort of problem with your vehicle.
Right.
Where you're in the breakdown lane trying to limp it along until you get to the next exit. But not when everybody else is going 80. I was doing 4, 5 miles an hour down Route 2. But it's not surprising that somebody from Rhode Island would exhibit that kind of behavior.
Stop it.
Well, arrogance. Thinking that they're better than the rest of everybody else. We drive the slowest in New England because we're the smallest state. Well, we don't care about anybody else.
They have less distance to travel.
Yeah. Let's see. Holiday fights. You want to talk about holiday fights?
That sounds like fun.
Holidays are coming up. Means lots of family infighting. Here are the main topics that can start a fight and why it must be best to avoid them. A poll found that 40% of families deal with open disagreements around the holidays. And that's without factoring in the election. Politics is the number one topic that can start a fight, but didn't win by much. Here's the top 3. Politics, 34% said it's a frequent point of tension in the family.
Mm-hmm. Can be.
Family dynamics and past grievances, 32%. That's where my family falls into place.
Old grievances?
This is why we don't get together.
Well, I can understand that.
As a group.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that some of you can be reasonable, but there's always going to be one of you. Always going to be one troublemaker.
So ongoing stuff that's been brewing then bubbles over. The third one, a tie between relationships and finances, both 25%. Try to avoid phrases like, that wife of yours is why you don't have any money.
Yeah, but you have to expect a reaction when you say,
that
when you make that kind of declaration.
That wife of yours.
That wife of yours.
Yeah. Arguing about those things is usually pointless, but there's another reason to avoid them. There's a 1 in 3 chance it becomes somewhat of a war.
Yeah.
The poll found a third of holiday fights ends up escalating into lasting rifts that can impact relationships for years. What a bunch of pansies. I was dealing with this all my entire life. Watching turkeys get thrown out on the front lawn.
Oh, yeah.
Having my mother be called names that you would never think that would come out of a man who married his mouth.
In front of children.
In front of all the children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. You know what? Have your fights. Start throwing food at each other.
Have your fights, but here you are today with a whole basket load of memories.
I have battle scars.
Yeah, like a Thanksgiving cornucopia of indelible memories and stuck in your brain forever.
And now I'm profiting off of it.
See?
By sharing all of those horrible stories.
Now it all works out in the end.
It all comes full circle. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, mostly sunny with a high of 60. Tomorrow, rainy, lots of it, with a high of 48. It's 42 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
With Aer Lingus and Bradley
102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:52 and the Black Crowes with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
You know, we got our big Mayflower Marathon starting on Monday. That benefits the Open Pantry in Springfield. But there's a lot of other great community organizations around here that help people in need, including one in my town. It is the Village Closet. And on the phone with us this morning is Lisa Goding, who runs the Village Closet. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Tell us a little bit about what's going on. Well, tell us, first of all, what the Village Closet is all about.
Sure, absolutely. So actually, our organization, It Takes a Village, runs the Village Closet as one of our programs. The organization was created to meet the needs initially of rural and isolated families. So it was started in the hill towns by one mom helping another, and it's grown into this large organization. We provide home visits for families with newborns. We provide basic needs supplies for people who need that. We have ways to connect by having parenting classes, support groups, and even kids' music and movement classes. And then we provide referrals and other resources that families might need so that they can be successful.
I'm looking at the story that was in Mass Live and also on the website about some of the things that you guys have done. And it really is pretty remarkable. Last year, there was you just supplied 110,000 diapers to area families. I mean, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you. We also provided $713,000 worth of basic needs supplies in total to almost 10,000 people.
Now, just out of curiosity, who's contributing to this? I mean, are these just local people that are helping, or there's local organizations adding on to this?
So I like to say that it takes a village to run this organization. We have tons of we have about 45 volunteers. We're funded by organizations like United Way of the Franklin and Hampshire region, Irene Davis Foundation, Bay State Hospital, and some others. And then other than that, it's mostly individual donations and what I like to call sweat equity of the volunteers that help, each week.
Right, and then the big day coming up is Giving Tuesday, which that's a pretty important day for the organization, right?
It is. It's next week, and it helps us to prepare for our huge toy giveaway that we do the week before Christmas. We provide toys. Last year, we provided toys for almost 500 kids. We partner with Toys for Tots, but we also partner with a lot of Hilltown and other businesses to help us raise toys and money for this big event.
This is Lisa Goding from the Village Closet. You can go on the website hilltownvillage.org, and it really does spell out very well all the things that you guys contribute to and what you do and how people can help, including how you can sign up as a volunteer. What else can people do on that website?
Well, I was going to say that you can volunteer for Giving Tuesday or any day, as well as find out information on our donate page. One, how to donate money, but also how to donate toys, either through area businesses or some events that are happening throughout the Pioneer Valley.
Again, the website is hilltownvillage.org, and you can donate right there on the website. Lisa Goding, thanks so much for the time this morning, and we wish you the best of luck with the fundraising.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Absolutely. It's 8:56 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Are you ready to go to the...
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 9:10 and Def Leppard on Rock 102.
What? How
know,
could
man.
you have done that?
I don't know. They couldn't be any different or more different than they are right there.
Are you okay? Are you having a stroke over there?
No,
What's
no.
going on?
I'm all fine.
What's that fast thing?
Facial,
face,
ass,
sternum, and taint. Yeah.
So some of them are being affected right now, but not all of them. Hey, is there some sort of big event going on, say, like tomorrow night, say, I don't know, Westfield?
Yeah, actually, and tickets are selling. It's the $20 dinner and a comedy show over at the Shortstop Bar and Grill. Doors open at 7, dinner's at 7:30, and the beautiful show starts at 8. We have Brian Glowacki, who's a very funny comedian from the Boston area. He's going to be headlining the night, and you'll get to see an array of other either good or bad acts, depending on what your taste is.
Well, I mean, good or bad, it's all a matter of opinion, don't you think?
Yeah, but if you want to go to that, tickets, you can go Venmo me at Nagle Comedy, and you got to search that on the business page. You can go to my Facebook page. There's a code there, QR code, or you can just message me and tell me you want to go. Just so we have a count for the food, because that's the important thing, how much food we need to make. So if you just tell me you're going to go, we'll lock you in for the $20 rate. Otherwise, it's $25 at the door.
And speaking of food, there's also a Mayflower Marathon tie-in that you've created, too.
Yes, that was the extra added bonus. We usually give a raffle ticket away for every person that buys a ticket, and we will do that for everybody to get. But if you bring a canned good, just one canned good with you, that's all you need. You get an extra raffle ticket that doubles your chances of getting a thing. And it's not like, oh, I brought 6 canned goods, I need 6 extra raffle tickets. It doesn't work like that.
No, you
a
get
donation
one.
is a donation. One is one, or you can, or even better, if you can show me that you donated on the Rock 102 PayPal site for the open pantry, because I believe that's open, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Show me you made a donation to the open pantry, and we'll give you the extra.
Oh, there you go. That's very kind of you.
So there you go. You don't need to give me any cash for that. I don't want to be the handler of cash.
No.
I will be the handler of food. I will take that and bring it down to MGM on Monday.
You got a lot of experience grabbing cans.
Yeah. Now we have let's shift gears here without using a clutch.
Okay.
And go back to the talk about the cake czar thing, because I wrote that letter.
Yes.
To the 2 people who have birthdays in November.
Okay.
And I am not going to say who those 2 people are. I didn't say who those 2 people were, because I keep secrets. I like to. I feel like I feel I need to protect the privacy, especially when it comes to medical issues.
Right.
This person one of the people wrote me back after receiving this letter. Sadly, since I am gluten-free, I would be unable to enjoy the deliciousness of any of these offerings. Because we're offering a cake from La Fiorentina pastry shop. However, the carrot cake would be the most appealing to me if I could indulge, followed closely by the cheesecake with strawberries. I know La Fiorentina makes delicious gluten-free offerings. Just putting that out there since it is my birthday month. Signed, Anonymous. Because I will not violate HIPAA violations of employees at Rock 102.
Understood.
Yeah.
You know, you could order a sandwich there. I mean, the bread and everything. But the salads, you can get salads.
Well,
maybe a birthday salad.
293-102 run on the Route 10 Tire listener line.
What's your favorite gluten problem?
What's your favorite gluten-free story?
What's your favorite celiac disease memory?
How many times have you sat on the toilet after eating something with gluten in it? But now I don't know what to do. This is a hard decision for a cake czar.
You know, I would love to chip in my 2 cents, but I have nothing to do with the cake detail. You're on your own, mister.
Do I get a gluten-free option for that person? But then that makes that person more special than anybody else who's representing a birthday.
I think you get a cake.
Yeah.
But also an option. I think you because this is more about birthdays and celebrating our staff members than it is purely about the cake. So what you do is you send them the menu at La Fiorentina or the Zonen's Deli, and you say, would you like meatballs or would you like something that will make your celiac disease blow up?
Well, he's not going to eat anything that has gluten in it.
Okay, but how about...
I'm sorry, they aren't going to eat anything with gluten in it. I didn't mean to single out.
Okay, but they've got delicious sauces and bajol and all kinds of things.
Well, that's what I mean. But this is regarding baked goods.
No, it's regarding birthdays.
Yes, but the offer originally was a baked good.
Yeah. Well, if this employee can't participate in this, well, then I guess the only one that can make it right would be the cake czar.
I gotta get on this.
Yeah.
I gotta assemble a team.
It's not easy being the top guy, is it?
Who would be a good team to decide the cake? First of all, I'll call that lady that used to have cake in the conference room.
Okay.
We'll get her opinion on it.
All right.
It's like an outside consultant now. That's what happens in radio. You become a consultant when you can't do anymore.
Yeah,
here.
Those that can't work consult.
Right.
Yes.
And then who else should we get? Maybe the boss.
You could ask the boss.
Which boss?
That's the
Our
big,
direct boss or the big boss?
Either one.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the big boss. He's the one that's going to approve the expenditure of cake money.
Yeah, well, I don't want to let on how much these cakes are going to cost before you want to surprise. Listen, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission.
But you've got 12 months to fill.
Yeah, well, but you know what? If it just keeps steadily going at a rate of like $80 for a cake, I think we can make this work out.
It's the 9:17 with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
So I'm on yet another